Hi guys, I hope you're good since last video. LM Studio Olyama is very good to test locally, but it takes a while to get an answer. So here I'm going to show you free AI LLM APIs for devs where you're going to be able to test different models. I'm going to show you different models available, the rate limiting, and also we're going to play using the playground. That's how I suggest you to be introduced to those platforms. After, we're going to be going to the terminal just to play with the code so that you know how to start with it. Let's get started. Groq is the first one. So you just tap Groq documentation and you'll be able to go to their website. You log in, you create an account. This is the page where you can see the general account details. You create a project. That's how you're going to start. So here, let's just create a project and put the name test. You create an API key to interact with it. Let's do that, the creation of the API key. Just press on the button, give it a name. Yes, I'm a human. And after you give it a name here, let's call it local project. You submit, and you will be getting an API key to interact with it. I just copy it, and I'll be using it later on. And that's where you're going to find it here. If you want to rename the key, you can do that. So the key is not going to change, but the name is going to change. Okay, so let's, for example, put local dev project. We submit. So I'll be able to use the same key, but I will be referencing here that key with another name. And after, so you can delete it. Revoke the key. Okay. So I'll get a key, I'll put it on my environment variable. I will show you later on how to do that. I got some keys already here for some other projects I'm working on. Manage projects, and that's where you can find all your projects. You can also delete the project if you don't need it anymore. Okay, so we've been through the project and the API key, the billing. There is a free tier, but it's not free 100% for sure. There are developers that can use the pay per token, or also the Pro, the enterprise one, which has more features like LoRa, inference, SSO, and so on, scalability also. On demand in general, it's on demand. The rate limits, let's see the rate limits. So act as a control measure to regulate how frequently users on application can access the API endpoint. RPM, request per minute. RPD, request per day. Token per minute. Token per day. Audio seconds per hour and audio seconds per day. So this is the table. Now that we've seen the labels, there are rate limits for developers and there are the free tier rate limits. I'm just going to go through the free tier rate limits. You can see the list of model. Those are the model tags that you will be using in your code. Llama models, versatile. This one is a 30 request per minute, just to see how you can read it. Request per day, for example, this one, 14,000 requests per day. So that's enough to test your application. Here there is a text-to-speech model, 10 requests per minute, 100 requests per day, 1.2 TPM, which is token per minute. Okay, so that's how you're going to be able to plan in advance. There are also some text-to-speech models. Here we have 20 and 2K and 7K for the audio seconds per hour. Okay. And after here, there are some rate limit headers. You get more details. I invite you to just come in this page and have a look at that, because you might get some errors because you reach the rate limits. Let's see the models available in just a better interface. Those are the cookbooks. Just quickly, you can go in the GitHub to see some different examples: e-commerce, SQL functions, stock markets, and so on. Here are the models. We get nice model cards, Llama models, GPT OSS models, Whisper models. So GPT OSS is the OpenAI one. The Meta is the Llama model ones. And after here, you get the same headings: rate limits for developers. There is also the pricing, the Quen 32B, for example, here. API calls. Let's just go through some code snippets, because they're giving you some examples. The Groq API is OpenAI compatible API. That's what makes it nice. Python, JavaScript, SDKs. And after that's the base URL. You need API key and base URL basically. So the Groq API key, the one that I showed you at the beginning, and after the base URL, just to call the LLM. We can go in the Quick Start tab just to see those little setup. Curl, Python, after JSON also. So Python, you install the Groq. It's available through pip. And after here, you get the code snippets. Also for LitLLM and Longchain, those are the third parties, SDKs. So you can use those to install Groq, like Longchain-Groq through pip. You need to export the API keys in your environment, and after you need to import everything that is needed to make an API call. The chat Groq client, indicate the model name, and after here get the JSON output parser. That's an example of Longchain. And after here the prompt, you create the template for the prompt with the system prompt and the user prompt. And after you create the chain, the Longchain chain, and you pass the output, just invoke and get the JSON dump, and we get an answer. Okay, that's a quick overview of the code. Let's go to the playground though and play with the code. So chat or studio. Here I just choose chat. There's a list of models available. There's a nice card popping up on the left side where you can see the details. Let's use the audio transcript. So speech to text. I'm gonna here drop a file. You can also speak directly, but I have some files. This one is too big. You see, when the file is too big, it's not gonna work. There's a maximum 19.5 megabytes. This one is small. I use that one in my playlist of Kubernetes that I invite you to go and have a look at. So here you get it done in almost instantly. It's so quick. That's what is amazing with those APIs. You get the timestamp, amazing, and you get the details, different segments, different sentences. It's going to break it down. Yes, we talk about etcd, Kubernetes. You can get the text, the full text. And I'm going to be using this example to play with all the other features of this playground. So text to speech. Let's get the text and use this playground. We copy it. We're going to swap the model for text to speech model. This one, for example. Play AI TTS. There's another one for Arabic. So here it's in English. We just use this model. Drop it in. We submit. Same. It's not going to work if it is... you need to accept this first. But it's not going to work if the request is too big. Because this is just a playground. It's just to test. You can see here. Error generating speech. Request is too large. I'm just going to crop this down to something that is going to be acceptable. I stop it here at the end of the sentence. It's going to take a few seconds. Nice UI. And here we got our record. Let's listen.
Hi guys, I hope you're good. Since last video, we have seen storage in a video following a certain pattern to develop an easy understanding of it. Now, what if you lose that persistent storage, or if a node disappears because there are some fires happening in data centers? This actually happens, guys, and you will lose everything. This is why people are using Kubernetes for its high availability, the possibility to have clusters spanning across different availability zones, thanks to its networking. Where you need for that to take some snapshots of the cluster state in the cloud, you would use AWS S3 and KMS or AS encryption, or even HashiCorp Vault, so that you could recover from a certain point if you have any SLA or SLOs, service level agreement or objectives. This video will be interesting for you. In this video, we will see how to back up and restore our Kubernetes cluster.
Pretty amazing. Let's go to the reasoning model. We're going to be choosing the Queen model. So it's going to be yapping a lot because we're going to see his syncing process. After you have some here on the right side, some different settings for the temperature. So you can come here also for any of the models and play with those, the max completion token, the reasoning, the default reasoning, or no reasoning also, you can do that, stream or JSON. We're going to go for JSON mode. If you have some MCP servers, you can use those, add those. So using tools, the top P, the seed, the stop sequence, some templates. Okay, I'm going to leave it everything at default, just I use the JSON mode just to show you something. So here, for example, I'm going to prompt it. I need a quick report on these video instructions. So I'm going to be pasting the big chunk of text that I got from my voice initially, transcripted. So here, the topic with a nice header and bullet. I'm just going to ask a report about that for somebody who want to learn about that subject. Section in method of learning quick. Just want to learn quick those concepts. I put my text in. I submit. It's not going to work. It's going to tell me must contain the word JSON. Okay, so in the prompt, when we choose the JSON mode, we need to state that we want the model to render a JSON object. That's the way you do. So what we're going to do, we're going to be changing the prompt, or just adding a little precision, pressing this button here, we can update. After report here, I'm just gonna add in JSON format with you can ask for a key with key report and its value being the report content. And after I just put the chunk of text that I got. So I'm just going to show you the code. Just use the JSON here so you can see the representation of those options on the right side, temperature, max token, plus the prompt. So we have submitted it. We receive a JSON. In fact, it looks a bit messy and difficult to read like that. I'm just going to go to the terminal to show you it. Find it better in the terminal. To have a JSON overview of that. So let me put in a file. I'm just going to cut the file, and after we're going to be able to see it, to see the details of what is rendered, what is coming back to you as a response. So the playground is here also when you want to use the API, so you know how to get those values that you need. We get the report key that we have asked for, introduction, problem statement. After there are some other keys for the headers, Kubernetes high availability, tools and techniques, backup and restore process, disaster recovery strategies, practical advice, and the conclusions. Okay, so we get a report like that. Let's see the inference. So the API is here for all the inference. You have a curl, JavaScript, or Python code. That's the default for any API where you're going to be going, any documentation. Here we're going to be using curl with the Groq API key. What you need to do, you need to export the Groq API key. I'm not going to show you what the key is, but you just put it between quotes and you export it into your terminal, your environment. After that, you paste the code that is coming from Groq, and you're going to change the user request. That is our Creditizens question. What is the biggest capital city in Asia? That's what we ask to the models. You can come here and grab any model. So you have the right model tag. Let's go for Kimi. We go for Chinese model. Very popular at the moment. From Moonshot. And I'm going to be here pasting that. Okay, so we got the model. We send it. We receive this response. Let's just show it in a more prettier way so that we can see the details of this response that you get. Let me GQ that into a file. I'm going to cut the file after. I'm going to call it inference Groq demo using curl. So this is how it looks like. You get an ID of completion, the object chat completion, created that with a timestamp, model, choices, it's a list, so choice is 0 in general, and after you go inside and you look for the message and the content of the message. The biggest capital city in Asia by population is Beijing, China, with over 21 million people in its metropolitan area. So it has precise by population. Okay, and after you get some metrics. This is good if you want to add a dashboard, add the tracking of how many tokens you're using, input token, output token. You use that in your formula with the pricing, and you'll be able to know how much it costs. Okay? Service tier on demand. Whatever is free is on demand. The devs tier also is on demand. Please like and subscribe during the break. So the next one will be Cerebras. Also lightning fast, same as Groq. So the speed of the light, getting an answer very quick to test quickly. Setup and code overview. Let's just go quickly over the little code snippets. We have Python SDK and we have Node.js SDK, so JavaScript and Python. This is the basic code importing the Cerebras using the Cerebras client. Let's go to quick start. That's where you're going to start. It's going to tell you everything you need. Prerequisite an account, inference API key, and you need Python. Just give you TypeScript and Python with versions that you need. Set up your API key. You see here also we're exporting the API key in the environment, or using pip or npm for Node.js or Python. We can install the Cerebras SDK, making an API request. So we're going to use curl just to make it quick, because here just to show you how quick you can test and check the different models and choose the right one for your agentic system. Also using those APIs to be able to test quickly your local systems before deployment. Here also for the pricing, they have a 0, a free one. There's a free tier, developer and enterprise. Experience instant code completion with frontier model. Here's just the advertisement of it. But that's true. Cerebras is also amazingly fast and quick. You can see the speed. 3000 tokens per second. That's amazing. For some models. We're not going to stay here for a while. We just go to the models and the rate limits. You get a nice list of models. So those are the open source models available through the API. That's the ones that we have access to. And you can see the speed. It goes from 2000 to 3000 tokens per second. Quen is available here, the bigger one, 235 million parameters. And after you can read the details. After for sure you need to follow up on what is discontinued or not, because whenever there's a new open source one, like the OpenAI GPT-OSS, like this one, so you're gonna get it available through those APIs. Llama models, this is how they have separated everything here. They put the OpenAI, Llama and Quen models separately. So it's unfortunate that in those providers we don't see anymore the Mistral models. Those were quite amazing, but you can go through the Mistral API directly to get access to those ones. They have also some free tier models available. And after here you get nice cards just telling you how speed is the inference for that model, the structure output available, plain text, JSON or format structured also. And you get some notes and the details around the model. There's some pricing also for the on-demand tier. I think we're good with the quick start. Let's go to the playground door. You need to log in. So just use your GitHub or Google account. After you're in the interface of the playground, they almost all look the same. On the left side you have the options, on the right side, on the left side you have the navigation, on the right side you have the options to play with the models. You can view the code. You can here see the drop down for the models, scrolling down and seeing all the different models available. We go for Qwen syncing, 235 billion parameters. We can play with the temperature and put it to 0.7. That's default. Max completion, 65,000. Top P, the seed. Now you used to see those. The stream, we choose JSON here. You can also choose stream, but when I code, usually I choose JSON and I play with it after. After here, you can just enter a system prompt. So here, for example, if I put the question, what is the biggest capital city in Asia? It's not going to work. You're going to put it down there. You see JSON mode required. Okay, this is another problem. It's just when you're using stream, you can just write anything. But whenever you choose the JSON mode, at this time, you will need to mention in the prompt that you want a JSON output. Okay, so here I just put it back to stream, and I'm going to put the system prompt. That's what you should put here. You are a specialist in Asian geography and help users. Concise and quick. And here I can put the Creditizens question for the inference. What is the biggest capital city in Asia? We run and we get an instant response. You see how quick it was? It's very nice the way they did it. 33 token output, the speed 12,000 token per second. Quite amazing. This is a syncing model, so there will be a lot of text for syncing. Okay, syncing model. And here is just trying to understand if it is biggest by population or biggest by surface on the ground. So it's going to be yapping for a while. Most of the tokens are coming from actually the syncing process. And after here we get the answer, which is a quite long answer, because how you define biggest population? Land area, metropolis, Tokyo. Okay. Why? Proper key, and after you can pause the video to see the answer. It's going to be mentioning more cities: New Delhi, Jakarta, Beijing, Dhaka in Bangladesh. My land area, this is less commonly asked, but interesting. Lhasa also. In the Nepal, Kathmandu. Okay. So I'm not going to read the details, everything, but that's what we're interested in. Tokyo, Japan is the largest city in Asia by population. Jakarta, Indonesia will be by the land base. So you'll see that for this question you get different answers, and the model is just getting crazy, doesn't know what to answer. Okay, so here I grab the code for curl, and you can see you get all the details, the syncing, you can see everything in it. So I'm just going to reset, grab the code, and go to the terminal. So let's copy this curl code here. Copy and go. Paste. There is a role system, as you can see, but we need to add the second part of the dictionary of the list, a dictionary for the user. So role, we go user, and after we're gonna put the content and just ask our question. What is the biggest capital city in Asia? Okay, be very concise in your answer. Okay, and after here, answer only using one unique sentence. I'll try to force it to not give us a full chapter. So the Cerebras API key need to be exported, but we haven't done yet. So let me cancel this, get the API key. So on the left side, just get an API key. On the top right side, you can generate an API key. Now you know how to do that. I already have one. I'm just going to grab that one. You can just add one, put a name. It's the same for all the providers. Same system. Export Cerebras API key. You put it between quotes. Okay, and you export it. And now let's use our prompt. I'm just going to straight away pipe it into a file. Just let me I'm just gonna add some more to the content of the system prompt. I'm just gonna ask for a JSON response with a key. Okay, the key is gonna be just answer. So I found this technique the easiest to get a structured output from an agent. Just asking what you want and showing maybe an example in the prompt, and you're gonna get that as an answer. So you're gonna be able to pass your answer just searching for that key and JSON dump. Okay, we get the inference. This one, it takes a while here because it's a thinking model, I think. So there's a lot of text to send. Yeah, it's too much. And the answer was Beijing, China. But this is a bit too much. So what you can do, you can, let's do it another way. Let me just change. We're gonna swap this model. Let's change the model. So we go through the models here. Qwen. And I'm just gonna get the tag here. Instruct. So with the instruct model, there's no sort process. It's gonna be just answering from the data that it has. Let's go straight. Copy paste, and let's try again. Yeah, it has been now blazing fast. We got it straight away. We copy, we just check, we cut that, and we get our answer. The biggest capital city in Asia by population is Tokyo. You see, the one using the reasoning has answered Beijing, but the instruct has answered Tokyo. Rate limits. So as you've seen in the answer, you get also some metrics, and here you get the rate limits. You just go to the limits option and you check that, and you can also check the usage. Let's just select our model. We used this one, the instruct. This was the last call we've done, and here you can see the point, and this tells you the dates and the number of requests, the number of tokens you've been using for that. Input and output tokens. Okay, so we've seen Groq and Cerebras, which are two free AI LLM APIs for devs to test, to play with, and to be able to use in your systems of agents. So you can just try those easily for free before going to any paid API. And the models are not performant, same as Anthropic or OpenAI or Gemini's models, but for sure here you can have your deterministic agent doing the minimal process. If it works with those models, for sure the bigger models are going to be able to perform well. But the thing is what you want is to save cost, is to not pay a lot. So here you will be able to optimize that, and after go and use a more performant model for something more stable and reliable. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. Hope that you like this video. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time.